Hey everyone, Junkyard Jenny with you. I figured I would go ahead and kind of document the restoration of my very first Series 1. I do have a 74 260Z, but it's kind of already done. It's a resto mod as well. Yes, my 71 is going to be a resto mod. It's not a low numbers car, so I figured, well, why not? So we are going to start with the dashboard. I've already taken my dashboard apart, and in here is parts of two different dashboards, a nice one and mine. Fortunately, my dashboard had a really nice harness, so it's in the hot tank and I'm just waiting for the tank to warm up so I can clean it. This hot tank is pretty safe. I don't have to worry about anything getting damaged in there, and I can still read the part number once it's all clean. And when I say all clean, I don't mean like totally clean. I'm still going to do a lot of detailing to it. I like to make sure that my stuff is super clean before it goes back in. Right now, I started kind of working on this before I thought to record this, and so the very first thing I'm working on right now is the speedometer. And I've already taken it apart. This thing is a pretty low mileage. It's either 19,000 or 119, we don't know, but the car looked super good. I mean, look at this housing. This thing is absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to polish up the lens here, but as you can see, it's pretty clean. If you guys ever want to test these things and make sure they work, I can actually show you how to do it. So hang tight just a second, I'll show you. Okay, so what I have here is just a standard run-of-the-mill, what am I working with, Milwaukee? No, quarter cable. And then this is just a tiny little chunk of speedometer cable. You put it in this and you put it in reverse. Make sure you put it in reverse. That's how these like to run. And then on the back of it, you just insert speedometer cable into where it goes, make sure it's in reverse, and then run it. And it should run it, depending on how your battery is, anywhere between 70 and 90 miles an hour. Also, watch your trip meter and your odometer and make sure they're working. Oh, it's not working! Oh, because I'm going forward. Stupid girl. There we go. And you can see it's running now. I will preface this by saying that I already did run it 1 mile, so it's going to take a while for the odometer to run, but you can see the trip meter is running. I'm not going to run this for the full mile because I know it works, but you can see the trip meter is working. And I always recommend that you do run it for a full mile just to make sure that the odometer does turn over. Next, of course, is to make sure that the face of these are clean, and you never want to use any kind of cleanser on these at all. You just want to use a makeup brush and gently brush the face of it, just get any dust and dirt off of it. I did notice that down here the paint was starting to flake off a little bit. I'm not going to fully restore that because nobody's going to see this, and so I just kind of ran the makeup brush around it until it stopped flaking off. And then we're going to clean up the back side of it a little bit. It really doesn't need a whole lot, but I would like to make it look a little bit prettier. First thing I'm going to do though is polish up this lens because I do want to put the unit all back together before I start messing with the back side of it. I don't want to damage the front side of it at all, so I want it completely assembled before I start messing with it. So what I use for polishing the lenses is never anything less than 3M for the polishing pad, and I always use the orange one. Usually it's got a little bit more bumps on it, but this one I use pretty much all the time. Don't forget your coffee. You're going to need that, or whiskey, whatever you prefer. And then I use this Meguiar's Ultimate Compound. You would think that it would scratch the lenses, but it doesn't. So lots of trial and tribulation on this, but don't forget, use it with a 3M pad only. Anything else is just junk as far as I'm concerned. And no, I don't get paid by 3M, but I believe in their products. Okay, I'm just going to put a teeny tiny bit on here. Don't need a lot, like a drop. And then I always get my pad a little bit wet. Spread it on there nice and good. And then just kind of keep it at a low speed. You don't need to get it hot. This one is particularly nice, so I don't need to do a whole lot to it. I'm mostly just cleaning it. fiber and clean it off. Show the end result here in a second. Holy moly, guys, look at this. Like, I mean, I can't even tell you, I can't even show you really, but there's not a scratch on this lens. This thing is absolutely gorgeous. Okay, I'm going to put this speedometer back together and then we'll get the back side of it cleaned up. Okay, there she is, looking beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. Oh, yeah, here's a little trick for you too. If you ever want to read build date codes, you can see on this one was built, hold on, I gotta do math in my head, October 20th of 1970. So this is how you read the dates. It's the first two is the day, or sometimes it's even just one. This will be the month and this will be the year. So this one was born on October 20th, 1970, exactly 3 years before my brother. Okay, now we're going to clean off this. It really doesn't need much cleaning, and I'm actually probably not going to mess with it much. It is very clean. I did kind of wipe it down. There's really not much I want to do on here because I don't want to take off any protective coating. But the speedometer cable mating surface here is kind of gross, so I'm just going to clean that up, and really all I'm going to do is just wipe it down. So I'm not going to make a video of that. I'm sure you can figure it out. Okay, the hot tank's running, so it's a little bit loud in here. Not leaking. Okay, we're going to move on to the tack. And this thing's really dirty, but I can show you what I did to the speedometer before, before whatever. So, first thing to do is take out these 4 screws, and we're going to get the cover off. Oh, no, is that that? No, not that. I'm going to get the cover off. Hold on. Alright, once you get those screws out, you just kind of give this a, well, okay, kind of give it a wiggle. Sometimes you got to get medieval on them. Swiggle it back and forth, and there you go. Comes off. Okay, this one has a lot of schmutz on it. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a lot of debris. So, take your makeup brush again and just wipe it down, and then it's all super clean again. And then same thing with this one. There's no paint in this one, but kind of just clean it off and make it pretty. Oh yeah, see all the paint coming out of there? Yeah.
God damn, that's like a busier day than a power hour during the week.
He's talking about PFI. They're busy. It's the weekend. Okay. So I'm still gonna take this over to the well, let's just go. Come on. Okay, I'm just going to take the compressed air and, okay, yes, I'm wearing a brace. I'm not that fat. So, it's compressed air, but I'm not going to hit it too bad, and I'm just going to go underneath. And I'm just blowing out all that loose paint. Staying behind the gauge. That's about done. Okay, so now we're going to go back to the cover, and on this one you simply push the glass and the backer plate, well, the lens, the plastic one. Oh, I got paint on my chin. So again, these are super prone to scratching, so the very first thing I do is wash it with Dawn dish soap in my hands, and just gently wash it with my hands. I don't like to get any of the dirt in there because these scratch super easy. Give it a good rinse, and then we'll get a look at it. Looks pretty good, but I want to give it a polish with the 3M. Pretty, and nobody's ever going to see it again. So this inside, I don't know if you can see that. It's still kind of wet, but dirty. So on these ones, I take a cheap, not the good one, magic eraser, and I just rub it until it's all one even color, and really all I'm doing is just getting the dirt and the grime off of that. And then dry it off kind of in the same pattern that you washed it in. And then that way any streaking or anything will be even. And like I said, you definitely don't want to polish this. You want it to keep it that nice, pretty satiny color that they were from the factory. There you go. Now it's all nice and even. Alright, and then we move on to this guy. And same thing, I just hand wash him and then use the magic eraser on it. So. Okay, before we reassemble, I want to show y'all something. Down in here, this is the front side, here's the back side. There's these little tiny pockets that are going to hold water, and you definitely do not want to reassemble things while those are wet, because once you start moving it around, you're going to end up with water drops on the back side of your lens, and that will drive you crazy. So take it out to the compressor, put some compressed air in there, and blow all that crap out of there, which I'm going to do right now. Be right back. Okay, everybody is clean and dry. Oh, except for my lens. That's kind of, hold on. Better? All right. So we're going to go ahead and put the lens in first. And these things are kind of tricky because you don't want to touch it because you just cleaned it. And ew, hold on. Yeah, it's foggy. Hang on. Okay, no more foggy. So you just drop it in, and you'll see down there at the bottom there's a little pin it's got to line up with. I did not get it lined up on the first shot, so you just kind of shake it around till it lines up at the bottom, and then it should line up at the top. And when you line it up at the top, whoa, I need to shave my knuckles. Holy moly. Right up in there, you'll see that little nub. And as long as it's lined up there and the nub on the bottom, you're good to go. Next, you're going to take this piece, and the same thing. It's going to want to line up on a nub. Up here, it looks like it's going to be misaligned. That's okay. Oh, God, he's noisy. Okay, so it looks like it's all lined up down there. And then if you kind of give it a wiggle and it doesn't move, you're good to go. Now we're going to take our speedometer here. I'm going to give it one more little makeup brush just to be sure. And now we're going to put it in. What I always like to do is kind of start at the beginning or start at the side here and just make sure that these guys are going to line up first. And then when it wiggle its way in. I'm going to put the camera at a different angle though, so I can kind of do this. Hold on. Okay. Then just make sure that your screw holes all line up. You can see that there. You know, kind of wiggle it around. You're loose right now. You don't have your bolts screwed in there, so you're good to go. And then put your screws back in. I like to polish my screws. I know it's kind of not at all necessary, but these dudes are kind of ugly. So I'm going to bring them over to the polisher and polish them up. Okay. Front is all done. Look how much better this thing looks. Now we're going to move on to the back. Yeah, I'm going to do the back. Nobody's going to see it, but I'm going to do it. Yeah, he's still making noise. Okay, here it is with the harness off. And then here are my little bits of hardware. And then here's my harness. So I'm going to go clean up this harness. And first thing we're going to do, come over to the polisher, and I'm going to polish up these, wait, where it is, super dirty ends here. We're going to clean these up so that we can make sure that we get the best connection possible.
Why? Because restoration.
Okay, so the tack is finished. Normally I would go through and depin these guys to polish them up, but man, they look really good. So I'm not gonna. I did go ahead and polish the connections here, took them off, polished them. Same with over here. And this baby is looking really good. Typically I would worry about these little rust spots, but I'm not. I mean, this thing is really good looking for being 55 years old. So tack and speedometer are done. And then, wow, they really turned out very, very nicely. So next time I'm going to work on the other gauges, and we can actually probably come over here and take a look at our harness. Oh boy, very much more colorful. So next time what I'm going to do is take the harness, go through, and I do know there's no broken wires on this. I've already been through it. The harness is complete and intact, but same thing, I'm going to go through and polish up all of the connections and make sure that everything in here is clean and ready to go. I'll even peel back these little guys and polish up those and just make this ready to be reinstalled. So that's what we're going to do next time. Talk to you guys later. Bye.